I learned early in my trading life that the market rewards the man who can sit still in his mind while the tape dances wildly in front of him. Most traders are in a hurry. They want the market to pay them like a slot machine. They want instant gratification. They want certainty in a place that offers none. But the market is a living organism, and like all living things, it breathes, expands, contracts, teases, and punishes. I discovered that if I watched long enough, with enough discipline, the market revealed its intentions in the most subtle ways. And that same principle applies today, even if you are trading on a 15-minute chart, even if you call it scalping, and even if the numbers move faster and the screens are brighter. The rules haven't changed. People have, screens have, but human nature is the same. Fear and greed still run the show. When I look at the 15-minute time frame, I don't see a short-term chart. I see a battlefield of human impulses compressed into small windows. Every candle is a vote. Every spike is an argument. Every sudden flush is someone panicking. And every rally that shouldn't happen is someone being squeezed. I learned long ago that my success never came from predicting, it came from listening. The market whispers before it roars, and those who scalp must learn to hear the whisper long before the herd recognizes the shout. Most traders try to force trades on the 15-minute chart. They believe speed equals opportunity, but speed is nothing without structure. If anything, speed only magnifies weakness. When I was young and trading in bucket shops, I didn't scalp because of impatience. I scalped to learn human behavior. I studied the tape until I understood the rhythm of crowds. I learned that the shortest time frames exposed the most truth because the lies had no time to hide. The 15-minute time frame today is exactly the same. It compresses emotion, exaggerates reaction, and reveals what most traders try to conceal, their uncertainty. If you want to scalp on the 15-minute time frame, you must stop thinking like a gambler and start thinking like a surgeon. Every incision must be precise, every move intentional. There is no room for guessing. A guess is nothing more than an expensive wish, and the market makes you pay full price for wishes. What you need is clarity, a quiet mind in a noisy environment. When I speak to traders today, I see the same panicked look in their eyes that I saw in men who stood on the exchange floors decades ago. They want action. They crave movement. They want to be in the market constantly because they're afraid of being left out. But the fear of missing out is the very thing that ensures they will miss everything that matters. I made more money sitting and waiting than I ever did jumping in without reason. That truth holds especially firm when you are scalping the 15-minute chart. Every candle has meaning, but not every candle deserves your money. The first rule I learned is this: the market does not pay you for effort, it pays you for timing. You can stare at charts for hours, take endless notes, draw countless lines, but none of that matters if you don't master timing. And timing comes from understanding behavior. When I watched the tape, I wasn't watching numbers, I was watching people. Buyers full of hope, sellers full of fear, manipulators full of arrogance, amateurs full of delusion. On the 15-minute chart, all of these characters are still alive. The candles expose them. A strong thrust candle that reverses violently is not just volatility, it is the story of weak buyers trapped at the top, forced to sell at any cost. A slow grind upward that suddenly collapses is not randomness, it is exhaustion. And when the market pauses, forming tight little bodies on the 15-minute chart, it is not indecision, it is accumulation. Someone is preparing for a move, someone with deep pockets, someone who knows more than the crowd. That pause is opportunity if you have the patience to wait and the discipline to strike only when the market tips its hand. Scalping is not about speed, it is about precision. Many traders confuse movement with opportunity, and that confusion is fatal. I learned that the market always gives a warning before it makes a real move, but only to those who are calm enough to observe. When I see a 15-minute candle fake out in one direction only to reverse and close strongly the other way, I smell the same traps that were set in the old days. The only difference is that the trap was sprung on paper then, today it is sprung on screens. But a trap is a trap, and the crowd always falls for it. If you want to scalp successfully, you must first understand your own weaknesses. I lost fortunes because I violated my own principles. I won fortunes because I honored them. Every mistake cost me dearly, and every lesson was paid for in blood. I learned not to argue with the market because the market always had more money and more stamina than I did. I learned not to fight trends because the crowd's momentum can drown even the strongest convictions. And I learned not to trade when I was emotionally compromised because the market is a cruel opponent. It waits for your weakest moment. On the 15-minute time frame, your weaknesses are amplified. Your fear is immediate. Your greed is sharp. Your impatience is lethal. If you take a trade because you feel like it, the market will teach you humility. If you enter because you can't stand watching price leave without you, the market will teach you pain. And if you keep adding to losing positions hoping they'll turn around, the market will teach you ruin. I know this because I lived it. I saw traders lose everything, not because the strategy was wrong, but because the trader was wrong in spirit. Scalping demands that you think less about money and more about behavior, your behavior and the market's behavior. I used to say that the market is never wrong. Opinions often are. When you look at the 15-minute chart and see a setup forming, you must ask yourself a single question. Is this the market speaking, or is this my desire talking? If you cannot separate the two, you have no business trading short time frames. I became successful when I learned to trade detached from emotion. Not cold, not robotic, just detached. The market does not reward passion. It rewards discipline. Passion might get you into the game, but discipline determines how long you stay. On the 15-minute time frame, discipline is your only edge. Not the indicators, not the fancy tools, not the lightning-fast executions. Discipline, if you enter a trade, you must know exactly where you will exit if you are wrong. A scalper without a stop is a man standing on railroad tracks hoping the train slows down. You cannot negotiate with the market. The market has no empathy, no mercy, no concern for your feelings. I learned that when I argued with the tape, I lost. Every time. The same principle applies today. If your stop is hit, you were wrong, not unlucky. Wrong. And being wrong is not a tragedy. Staying wrong is. The 15-minute chart gives you just enough time to think, but not enough time to hesitate. That is the paradox. If you hesitate, the trade is gone. If you rush, the trade was never yours. You must learn to wait for the exact moment when the market exposes its weakness or its strength. Everything before that moment is noise. Everything after that moment is chasing. One of the greatest lessons I learned is that markets move in cycles of deception. They lure traders in with false strength, then punish them with sudden weakness. They lure traders in with false weakness, then rally to prove them fools. The 15-minute time frame magnifies this deception. The trap candles, the fake breakouts, the sharp reversals, they are the signature of a market designed to mislead the uninformed and reward the patient. If you plan to scalp, you must become a master of identifying deception. If a candle breaks a key level but has no conviction, no follow-through, no volume behind the move, then it is deception. If the market rallies but the candles show long wicks of rejection, then it is deception. If price pulls back but fails to break structure in a meaningful way, then the weakness is a lie. The market lies often, but it never lies for long. The truth always reveals itself, and the truth is that the strongest moves come after the greatest deception. On the 15-minute chart, the market will fake downward to hunt stops, then rise with fury that catches the crowd by surprise. Or it will fake upward just to gather liquidity before collapsing without warning. But these moves are not random. They are engineered by psychology. Large players understand that the crowd is predictable. Fear makes them exit too soon. Greed makes them enter too late. Impatience makes them trade too often. A scalper who understands this has a weapon, awareness. Most traders seek certainty in a place that offers only probability. They draw lines, hoping those lines will save them. They trust indicators, hoping the indicators will predict the future. They stare at candles, hoping patterns will repeat perfectly. But trading is not about prediction. It is about reacting correctly once the market reveals itself. On the 15-minute chart, the reveals are fast, but they are clear if you have trained your eyes to recognize them. A candle that closes strong after rejecting a level is not random, it is conviction. A series of small-bodied candles near a level is not indecision, it is preparation, and a sudden burst of volatility is not chaos, it is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. Traders often ask why they lose consistently on short time frames. The answer is simple. They react emotionally to noise. They see a single candle and think it signals a trend. They see a spike and think they're missing out. They enter without waiting for confirmation. They exit out of fear instead of strategy. I watched traders crumble under the weight of their own impulses. They were not beaten by the market, they were beaten by themselves. Your job as a scalper is not to catch every move. Your job is to catch the right moves. I made my greatest profits by waiting for the market to align perfectly with my criteria. A single trade executed perfectly is worth more than 10 trades executed impulsively. You do not need constant action, you need high-quality action. And quality reveals itself in structure, behavior, and consistency. The 15-minute chart teaches you clarity. It is not as slow as the higher time frames, and not as chaotic as the lower ones. It sits in a sweet spot, a place where the market's intentions become visible to the trained eye. But you must treat it with respect. The 15-minute time frame is a double-edged sword. It can make you money quickly, but it can drain you just as fast. The difference lies in your restraint. If you revenge trade, the market will punish you. If you increase size after a loss to make it back, the market will humble you. And if you think you can outsmart the market, you have already lost. One thing I learned from decades of trading is that the biggest enemy is not the market, it is the illusion of control. Traders believe they control the outcome of their trades. They believe that if they think hard enough or analyze deep enough, they can force the market to obey. But the market does not obey anyone. Not then, not now. It moves according to the collective psychology of millions. Your job is not to control, it is to align. When the market aligns with your rules, you strike. When it doesn't, you stand aside. I made my money by waiting for the market to come to me. I lost money whenever I went chasing after it. If you want to scalp, you must adopt the same mindset. Do not hunt trades. Let trades come to you. Let the 15-minute chart paint its story. Let it reveal the players. Let it show you where the liquidity sits. Let the manipulation occur. Then, when the market tips its hand, enter without hesitation and exit without regret. Scalping requires confidence, but confidence must be earned. You cannot build confidence on random wins. You build confidence by following your rules relentlessly. Your rules are your protection. They guard your capital. They guard your mind. They guard your future. Break them, and you break yourself. Honor them, and the market will reward you over time. I often say that traders lose because they want excitement rather than results. The 15-minute time frame produces constant movement, but movement is not the same as opportunity. The market can move for hours without giving you a single high-quality trade, and that is fine. You are not paid to trade. You are paid to trade well. If you sit and wait for the perfect alignment, the market will eventually reward you. If you force trades, the market will collect its dues. The greatest advantage a scalper has is the ability to adapt quickly. Trends shift faster. Reversals happen sooner. Liquidity gets taken swiftly. If you cling to bias, the 15-minute chart will break you. If you remain flexible, the chart will guide you. I learned to change my mind quickly when the tape contradicted my opinion. Pride has no place in trading. A trader who refuses to adjust is a trader who seeks disaster. The 15-minute time frame teaches humility. It reminds you that the market does not care about your plans. It does not care about your predictions. It does not care about what you hoped would happen. It only cares about the truth happening in front of your eyes. If you follow the truth, the actual price movement, you will survive the deception. If you follow your hopes, you will be slaughtered. The market punishes the greedy soon and the stubborn eventually, but it rewards the disciplined consistently. If you learn to scalp with patience, clarity, and emotional control, the 15-minute time frame can become a powerful ally. But if you enter the market seeking thrill, dopamine, or quick riches, the 15-minute chart will expose your weaknesses with brutal speed. I have lived the extremes of trading prosperity and ruin. I have seen markets in euphoria and markets in despair. And through it all, one principle has never changed. Trading is a psychological battle long before it becomes a financial one. On the 15-minute time frame, that battle is more intense because the feedback is immediate. Every mistake is punished quickly. Every weakness is highlighted mercilessly. But every moment of discipline is rewarded proportionally. If you want to master scalping, you must first master yourself. Not the chart, not the indicators. Yourself, your patience, your impulse control, your ability to wait for the moment of alignment. You must train your eyes to see what others ignore. You must train your mind to remain calm while others panic. And you must learn to hold your conviction when the market confirms, and abandon it immediately when the market denies. The 15-minute time frame is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are as a trader. If you are impulsive, it will reveal it. If you are fearful, it will expose it. If you are greedy, it will punish it. But if you are disciplined, patient, and observant, it will reward you with opportunities that others are too blind to see. In the end, scalping is not a test of speed, it is a test of discipline. Not a test of strategy, it is a test of psychology. The market does not demand brilliance, it demands consistency. You do not need to be smarter than other traders. You only need to be more patient, more disciplined, and more aware. The crowd will always move emotionally. You must move rationally. The crowd will always chase. You must wait. Scalp the 15-minute chart the way I learned to scalp the tape, slowly in the mind, patiently in the spirit, decisively in execution. Let the market reveal its intentions. Let the traps spring. Let the weak hands panic. And when the moment comes when price aligns with your rules, enter with confidence and exit with clarity. Fortunes are made by waiting for the right moment and losing the wrong impulse. If you learn that, even on the short time frame, you will discover that trading is not chaos, it is psychology. Not noise, it is behavior. And not gambling, it is discipline in motion.